Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today, update number 2700 on the accuracy stacker. No, actually, I think it's update number 4. And I know a lot of people have been waiting for this. And the reason why I'm actually not really making a lot of updates on this build is just because I throw more currency and more currency into this build, and it still doesn't perform to the level where I would like to have it to be like, yo, this is what we were waiting for. This was the upgrade that made everything like insane, right? So what am I talking about? What are my aims for this build? It's just completely different of what the typical player probably wants to do, right? Normally, a player wants to have like a character that is like budget or at least like not too expensive and can do all content, which including Saurus, Maven, and stuff like that. I've been far above that level already, right? But like, what do I want to reach? I want to have a character that is super tanky, has a lot of DPS, can clear 100% delirious, full juice, without Headhunter. That's the big thing. And yeah, at the moment I'm actually playing with a Headhunter just because of the like mapping and whatnot. But the aim, I would say the build is good when it can clear 100% delirious, maximum juice. That means Watchstones, Sextants, like, you know, the absolute juice without a Headhunter. Because usually most builds that run those maps, they have Headhunter and they have Self-Poison with the Sextant modifier. I want to have a character that can do all those things without. And if I can reach this level, then I would say, holy shit, that's a nice character. So yeah, I can already do Saurus, and I can do Maven and whatever, you know, or 100% non-juiced Delirium maps. I can already do that, but for the amount of currency that I have invested, it's not really on point yet. So that's what I want to talk about. The things that I have changed from the past. Where I actually play Frenzy now again instead of Tornado Shot. I think Tornado Shot was the last video, but nevertheless, I think the last video was no gameplay footage. So what we're gonna do today, I'm actually just picking Tornado Shot. We're gonna try out Scorch Arrow. We're gonna try out Lightning Arrow, maybe Ice Shot. We could actually try Explosive Arrow, just to show you guys that actually every single projectile-based skill does actually work, because we get all the flat damage from our boots, right? So I would say, what are we gonna run first hand? I think we're just gonna, I popped here, what is this, Hunter? Yeah, well, let's just do Hunter, right? So you see like how it currently looks like. What I was playing before was actually a replica Shroud of the Lightless with a bunch of Abyss Jewels going Tornado Shot, because I don't have to use a separate single target damage. Why did I go back to Frenzy? Easy explained, I found the Helm enchant. You know, like when this build was very in the start, I wanted to play Frenzy with this enchant, but we never got it. And what I got instead was +1 Tornado Shot. And that actually was the reason why I wanted to play Tornado Shot in the first hand, right? But like yesterday or 2 days ago, this one popped up, so I said like I want to give Frenzy another chance, using now 2 Frenzy setups like I had, one with clearing with like GMP and chain, and the other one with barrage, so that's my single target. A replica just gives you hilarious amounts of damage once you get your cluster jewels properly set up, right? So I'm talking about insane damage, right? But in the other hand, like, you don't want to run a map running around and do like this, you know? You don't really want to sustain one single source of Frenzy with a barrage setup, because the clear will be entirely shit compared to the chain and GMP, right? Good. I would say let's run those maps real quick so the people see how the current state is. And then I want to talk about the build, the choices, what I made, and why I'm actually going to go back to an earlier previous stage. So yeah, it is Frenzy with chain and, what is it, chain and GMP, so that's why all the arrows are popping up. For these rituals, you just need to actually stand here, hold down your button, and usually just everything, yeah, gets hit and explodes. And we have some Herald of Ice now, and all that mana cost things that I said that I want to apply to the build, which I want to actually go away from now again, because Scorch Arrow or other sources have just too much mana reservation, and at some point, you know, it's, I don't know, I'm not so sure about that anymore, if this is actually the best solution that I had. But hey, we're gonna go over the gear and my decisions a little bit later, if you're still interested in that. But as you see, it's just like a generic bow skill with a lot of projectiles and a lot of like clearing with an Exploit chest and Frenzy, and it's pretty good, right? We're actually quite tanky, I think, actually. Boss damage. Okay. Hunter damage. But yeah, these are like no mods. I mean, yeah, it's Awakener 9. But if you think like, yo, MB, that actually looks impressive, I don't think so. Like, and I actually didn't have the flask charges. That's actually the worst boss for this showcase, to be honest, because he's always moving. So I cannot, like, tunnel. Okay. Actually, worst boss, dude. Any other boss, like Veritania, I can actually face tank. So even if she makes her storms, it doesn't really matter because I have so much life gain on hit that it doesn't matter. So I would say let's try out Tornado Shot in my clearing setup. So that would be over here. That's how it currently looks like. I think if we actually do it properly, I should take the Tornado Shot Helmet Chant as well. So we pop that one over here. Do this one over here. And I think I don't need to do anything else. I don't know, like a couple percentage damage difference will not be any big, right? I would say let's run a Burial Chamber. Yeah, it's an open map, so we can use that one to just show off some skills, right? The only thing that I don't want to have is Ellie Reflect for obvious reasons. And for the showcase, minus monster resistance just makes a lot less damage for me, right? So that's not really the best case scenario. But I think as long as there is like no the ones that I cannot run, basically, which is Ellie Reflect, the rest doesn't matter, right? But it's just bad if you make a showcase and there is like monsters have increased resistance, so I'm dealing less damage and stuff, right? So this is Tornado Shot. Tornado Shot, insane clear. You just like move along and just shoot your arrows, and especially once you get like a Headhunter buff or two, or without Headhunter, you know, this is like a plug and play build, and I'm actually missing strength over here. That sucks. So I'm not really relying on my resistance. So if I have a Headhunter, I can play with it. If I don't have a Stygian Vice, or at least a Darkness Enthroned with 2 good Abyss Jewels is actually outperforming Headhunter by a big margin, right? But I'm mapping most of the time, so I don't see a reason why I shouldn't use my Headhunter. But on the other hand, like, it's not like this build needs one, right? But you see the clear for Tornado Shot, it's ridiculous. You just have so many projectiles, and with the Explode Chest and stuff like that. And this would actually make me go with the Replica Shroud of the Lightless, which gives shit tons of DPS, right? So just to keep that in mind. Because I'm not, I don't need to have a separate single target setup. So the problem with Tornado Shot a little bit is you need to aim behind the monster to have maximum DPS. And sometimes it actually locks your attacks to the boss. So I can even move my mouse away. God, the fucking boss, dude. Why is it so tanky? It's actually hard to aim that shit. Will this fucker actually kill me? Alright. So what I was saying... Yeah, you need to aim behind the target. So let's see, this circle here is the boss. The worst case is if you do this, right? You want to aim slightly behind the boss, so a lot more projectiles are hitting the target, and this will actually be a lot more DPS. Good, what else can we test? Just for reference, we're just gonna pop in another Burial Chamber. Just flat, whatever. I just hope that I don't spawn any Guardians. So, Frenzy is fine. Scorch Arrow. Scorch Arrow has a little bit weird taste because this shit takes so much mana, and I'm actually currently running minus 52 mana cost of skills. So my Tornado Shot is free, my every single skill I plug in is free, but Scorch Arrow has so freaking much mana cost, and the links that I'm using just for clearing, right? So wait, I need to disable my Wrath actually to actually play with this. Since I have so much attack speed, the channeling is actually quite fast to get it up, right? These are actually the wrong links, I just want to mention that, because you don't want to play with GMP. Neither do you want to play with other support gems that I plugged in here. This is just like for showcase, right? So just to show that it's actually possible, since we get all the flat damage from our boots, we can even play with, what is it called? Caustic Arrow. So Caustic Arrow is a damage over time thing, right? But since we have so much generic flat damage, you can even use Scorch Arrow to clear your maps if you say like this is the best skill ever and you want to play Toxic Rain, for example. And there is other skills where you can just have like so much flat damage. But I mean, yeah, we have those secondary projectiles coming from the pots, right? And I'm not wearing the helmet chant either. But I just think that my Tornado Shot and Frenzy with Chain just had a lot better clearing potential than the Scorch Arrow has. But I was just I want to try it out because I have so much attack speed that I'm like literally having 5 pots within a second, right? Which is kind of insane on that part. But we could plug in like a Lightning Arrow, so we see how that looks like. Wait, my clearing skill was in the chest, I think. So, yeah. So, that's Lightning Arrow now, without Helmet Chant, obviously. I think clearing is probably better than with Frenzy or with Tornado Shot. Tornado Shot is hard to come by, actually. But the clearing is nice. It has a lot of spread, those projectiles, and all the generic damage and stuff. It is really good. The problem is the same as Frenzy has. You have no single target. Like, if you play... When I say no single target I mean that you need a separate 6-link with a barrage setup to actually deal some good single target. As I said, clearing is super nice, single target is absolutely ridiculously garbage. Then we can play Ice Shot, so if you say like, yo, Ice Shot is the way to go, there is no problem. The Galvanic Arrow, like, all kinds of skill does work just because we have all the flat damage. So let's just pop up another map real quick, so we have some more monsters so we can test Ice Shot. Explosive Arrow should actually work. Yesterday it didn't because I was playing Tornado Shot with Pierce. Like yesterday sometime on stream I actually went away from the... from Tornado Shot again and went with Frenzy again because I got the Helmet Chant, so I swapped away from all the Pierce. Obviously, Explosive Arrow doesn't work with Pierce. Just because the explosions will not stick on the target because it travels through, right? But now since I'm back on Chain, I think we can trigger some explosions. But as you see, even Ice Shot on a Lightning build would work. And now we have Explosive Arrow, so now we are doing fire damage, right? I mean, we have ridiculous amounts of lightning damage, don't forget about that, right? But I think... that should actually work out. Yeah, it actually does. So I don't even know. I haven't tested this one yet. But I think, like, clearing-wise, it should be quite good because of... I want to actually just have a big bunch of maps. Ads here. Shoot one time the arrow. Let's see how it looks like. Boom. I mean... I'm not sure. But it's actually a lot of projectiles, a lot of attack speed. Oh, my GMP just leveled up. Perfect. So actually, even Explosive Arrow works with accuracy stacking. If you say like, yo, that's the skill. And I don't even know. I've never played Explosive Arrow, so I don't really know how this works out with sticking projectiles to the target. Like, single target-wise, right? Because clearing, who cares, right? Let me... Wait. Let me try something. If we play Explosive Arrow on a barrage setup... shouldn't that be, like, a lot of fucking explosions? But what damage are the explosions doing? Let me test this real quick. There's, like, so many things to test out on this build, it's insane. And we're gonna talk about that one later as well. Explosions will have added fire damage, but does the explosions get the lightning damage that I have? Because if so, that might actually be insane. Deals explosion at 3% more damage with hits and elements per explosive target on the arrow. Let's just do a bunch of, like, do I have the mana cost to sustain it so I can play with Herald of Ice? Yeah, it's free. Okay, so let's try to stick a bunch of, like, projectiles to the... Dude, I'm not even gonna lie, that was actually more damage than Tornado Shot. Explosive Arrow, lightning damage stacking. Yeah, like, whatever. Guys, I just want to show you that this is possible, okay? Every skill is possible, and we haven't even touched the melee skills yet, right? So, what are the changes from last time, the important ones, more or less? So, let me quickly revert my setup. Where's my second frenzy? Over here. I hope I didn't screw up my setups now. Single target, AoE. Okay, good. So, minus mana cost. As you know, in the early stages of the build, I actually... was playing with blood magic, so we don't have mana cost. But I said, I think it's going to be better to stack minus mana cost on rings, on amulet, implicits. So how much minus mana cost do I actually have right now? I have 10 crafted on all my jewelries, right? So we have non-channeling skills have minus 10 mana cost. It is usually 8 to 9, but with the fertile catalysts, you actually get up to 10. That makes it minus 30. Then I have now minus 9 mana cost on my Prismatic Jewel over here, which is the Replica Conqueror's Potency. Then I have minus 3 because it's an implicit on one of my rings over here. As you see, minus 3 mana cost of total skills. But now I'm actually having Frenzy for free, right? Or at least Tornado Shot was free. Frenzy has a lot higher base skill cost, it seems like. So I even had to use a minus 10 mana cost Clarity and have to fit in Clarity for my for this purpose to just have 0 mana cost, which also I had to do mana flows to get base mana or at least more mana so I can actually get Clarity on. So without those 2 skill points, I wouldn't be able to put on Clarity. So I have minus 52 mana cost plus 2 skill nodes here for the mana cost to actually be able to play Frenzy. And yesterday when I said, like, you know what, let's just try out Scorch Arrow just for fun, I plugged this one in and I see that the mana cost is 21. Okay? So even with all of that shit, that means that my Scorch Arrow would actually have, what was it, 21? So that is 73 mana cost. So even with all that I applied here, which is a heavy investment, okay? Minus 1 prefix, because the craft is a prefix, so I could get with flat lightning damage, minus mana cost over here, then I have to use Clarity to sustain that mana, and it's still not enough, so that makes me think, if we sum up all of this, you know, this would convert to flat light damage, this flat light, right, because of the open prefix that I have, the amulet, flat light. The minus Clarity mana could be a crit multiplier precision instead, right? So that's like 30 more multiplier. The Replica Jewel could be another Abyss Jewel. The minus mana cost on ring doesn't matter at the moment because I actually bought this one for the life gain on hit. So I'm just saying, like, was this worth to invest a lot of currency to get all this minus mana cost running? Or, boys, do we just keep on using Blood Magic? And I think Blood Magic is the go. Yes, we would lose out on Wrath. And Wrath is actually an okay aura. It costs 50%, but it just gives you a little bit flat lightning damage. It's way better on a spellcaster than on a melee build, right? Or attack-based build, better said. So, do we need Herald of Ice? I mean, it looks good, but do we actually need it? No, it's not, okay? So the only thing that's actually important are those 2 auras that we need, which is Precision and is what is War Banner. Precision, obviously, because it gives shit tons of accuracy rating. War Banner, because it gives 43% increased accuracy rating. So War Banner and Precision are the 2 best auras, and that gives you the most accuracy. The problem is, if we play with Blood Magic, we're gonna use Mortal Conviction. That means we cannot use War Banner, because then we would also play with Supreme Ego again to boost up our Precision with an Empower and Enhance to give me like 1200 accuracy flat, and I don't really lose a lot with it, and I have all of those things that I just mentioned that I will get back. And on top of that, what I'm currently considering using Precursor's Emblem Rings with accuracy per frenzy and maximum frenzy, or double accuracy, or triple accuracy wasn't on the market, sadly, but these rings give me so much more damage that these rings, even though they're like 5 times T1 with like ally damage with attacks and whatnot, are not better than the Precursors. And with the Precursors out, there's no chance I can actually play this template with a minus mana cost, so I would be forced to go Blood Magic again, right? But after testing all of these out here with the minus mana cost, I personally think, you know what, screw that. Get a bunch of free open skill slots for Cast with a Match Taker setup, use Blood Magic, screw all of these prefixes, and if you have rare crafted rings, just get a flat lightning damage roll on it, and I think it will be better, easier to sustain. You can really plug and play any skill without worrying like, oh, can I sustain the mana cost? We would get the additional jewel slot here as well, so I think Blood Magic, after all, will be still the way to go, even though it is a lot cheaper. I mean, it is better when it's cheaper, right? But my early version was Blood Magic, and I said, dude, this is going to be the version. But after testing this version, I'm like, you know what? I think all this investment was just not worth it. I think I should just stick to Blood Magic. Good. What is the next part? What is the next big part that I would like to add on the build? So as I said, I was playing with the Replica Shroud of the Lightless. I do think that this is the end game version, right? So, as I said, with Tornado Shot, I don't need the Exploit Chest, so I can swap this out and get a Replica Shroud of the Lightless and get 6 Abyss Jewels. Still up to this day, even though I'm playing this character since 10 days and I crafted a Mirror Tier bow, more or less, my jewels are still not crafted. The only ones that I have are just chaos spammed for 10 all resistance. You see that all of these have all resistance because I'm lacking resistance so heavily, right? So what do I talk about this? As I said, if I say I would have 10 Abyss Jewels, right, and I would have T1 life on those, that would be 400 flat life. That means I have a Chaos Heart implemented in my Replica Shroud. On top, that I get 300 accuracy times 10, 3,000 flat accuracy. That will be over 12, 13,000 accuracy for my character once I hit T1 accuracy on all of those, right? So I know that this is the most important thing with the Abyss Jewels. So you might wonder yourself, if you know that the Abyss Jewels will be the key of this build, why do you refuse to craft those? And this is more or less, I was spending so much on TFT to get this bow ready, and I spent like 2 or 3 days just in hideout, just buying remove, add lightnings, and remove whatever, you know. There's always a risk and the vouching. It's just absolute cancer to do harvest crafting with this 10 crafts hoarding crafting station. That's why I'm actually farming a lot of harvest myself to try to get my stuff going. But I say, like, you know, when you have so much work to do that you don't even want to start doing it, right? This is the current state why I'm still not started to craft those jewels besides chaos spamming them for all res, right? If you know, dude, if I only need 2 jewels, I would be like, you know what? It's time, we need to get those jewels running, right? But with that amount of jewels, and it's actually more than 10, I think in a perfect version, even with like voices jewels and more abyss jewels, because this will give you so much life and damage. When you know, like, okay, today we need to craft like 15 abyss jewels, like I don't even want to start, right? And that's why I continue. I finished my boots almost, they just need a divine life. I finished my chest almost with the expo chest additional curse. I don't even have an additional curse yet, so that needs to be implemented. So as I said, I was playing Tornado Shot, but now since I got the Frenzy Helmet Chant, I actually swapped to 6 Link again with an Explode, just because the Frenzy with the clearing just deals shit damage for single target, right? So that's because that's this part. So what I think, like, if we take a look at the POBs, that's actually a very interesting tree as well. So let me quickly go back. We are currently on 10 versions that I made for the accuracy stacking. I think this is the version now. No, that's actually an interesting tree. So if we talk about this one, this is actually using the entire circle to get in the outer circle a large cluster jewel with 2 split personalities with strength and accuracy, and it's like freaking 5 million DPS per split personality if you do it that way. But you would miss out on blood magic again, you would miss out on a lot of other things. But I just said, like, this actually looks like quite funny, like the travel range of the split personalities. Then what else is another try here on version number 9. This is with 2 precursors and blood magic, and I think this is the way I want to go. I'm just not sure if this is a right call, because we need so much intelligence that I think we need to use the fertile mind here to convert all of these dex nodes into intelligence, so we actually can sustain that, right? Then point blank is something I don't really like, because it gives you a lot of damage for single target, but I do mapping quite often, or at least most of the time I'm just mapping in delirious maps. Boss kills I don't really care about, so this would actually lower my damage in the map clearing because the projectiles fly that far, right? Then we have other, what is this version? This was still with my minus. This was actually with like plugging in some voices jewel that are 450x that I cannot even afford, but doesn't matter, just to see how it goes, right? To just make like super tanky 5.5 or 8,000 life at some point. So there has been so many versions already, and I think at the moment I want to stick with Frenzy, but I also want to go with blood magic again, as I explained before, and I want to skip all of this minus mana cost. So even those rings that I spent a lot of time on crafting will be kind of useless, because I actually want to run those precursor rings, because this one, for example, I got this 2 times accuracy roll with Onslaught, while at maximum frenzy charges, I'm always at maximum frenzy charges, so that means I could run an early focus instead. So I swap away my Cinder Swallow and get an Aether's Promise, because now I get Onslaught from my ring, and that gives the belt, the belt enchant with 30% accuracy while you have Onslaught. I don't need a Cinder Swallow for that anymore, right? So there's like so many things to try out, and I'm still testing. I'm still doing a lot of things on stream as well, so you can definitely check out if you want to. We also try to do I think Brutal Restraint Jewels, where it is accuracy, but we found out no chance you were ever gonna get a perfectly divined Timeless Jewel to sum up or to be better than actually an Abyss Jewel, because you're gonna miss out on a lot of other stats. So we try so many things on these builds, even with other skills, and now is the next quite funny idea that Synitis had. He sold me actually this ring here, double accuracy and increased damage, and he also plays Frenzy accuracy stacker. So we finally I find somebody that we can like compare some skill trees and stuff, because nobody else is playing accuracy stacker. So it's all on me more or less to try to make something like that work. And I'm still liking this build. I still keep on going on this build, right? I know it's not my obvious thing to do, because usually like 3 days a build and then we go continue, and now playing 10 days or 11 days the same build still. But he had the idea of using Replica Last Resort. So this is now a melee version of a build, right? This has nothing to do with my Frenzy bow. You can actually play melee Frenzy, right? But these actually say 100% increased accuracy when you're on low life, 200% increased damage when low life, 50% increased accuracy when you're on low life. So you could play a low life melee accuracy stacking Juggernaut with maybe in-stacking with Shaper's Touch, or if you say like, you know what, I don't want to use the Chevron's Wrappings for that, because the more spell damage doesn't really bring a lot, unless you play with the Crown of the Ice, you could still play with the, with the Coward's Trial. The Coward's Legacy, which gives you count as low life while you're cursed with vulnerability and vulnerability, so you can actually profit 100% of those. And if you say like, dude, Last Resort, that shit has 8 to 10 damage, it's for level 3, that's true, but don't forget all the flat lightning damage we get from our boots due to the accuracy stacking, so it doesn't really matter how much damage my weapons have. And if it would dual wield something like that and benefit another 100% increased attack speed, and then use Spectre Throw or Lightning Strike or whatever is good, like Molten Strike with all these projectiles, I'm pretty much sure that I'm gonna spawn with that attack speed like 200 balls per second or something like that. But this is something that I will try testing on a later stage, once I say like, yo, finally I'm happy with my bow build. Now I'm gonna try out some melee builds with accuracy stacking. But this is like future things, right? But I'm just saying the idea with Replica Last Resorts is actually kind of ridiculous and insane. Good. The current PUB, I think I'm just going to throw into the description of this video. Please make sure that you understand that I spend hilariously amounts of currency as always, and the build is still out and not really performing to a way that I want it to be. But hey, if you want to, the PUB is in the description below, and yeah, I do know that my damage is not really good yet. So, yeah. So, next plans, as I said, revamping again to Blood Magics, keeping all the rings and stuff like that, and see how that version will play out at some point, and revamping all my stuff. And another thing that I want to mention is, why do I not use Cost for Damage Taken anymore? Why do I skip away from Ice Golem? Why do I have even less accuracy than before? It's pretty much because the golem always dies, and I actually needed 3 sockets since I have an Abyss socket over here, so that destroys my links as well. Since with this version I need an actual aura setup, then I had to use in a clarity, so I couldn't sustain my cost when damage take on a 3 link anymore. And yeah, it all comes down to the part that's probably gonna be gone today when we go Blood Magic again. So I have this an entire 4 link again. So we can actually put in the cost for damage taken setups again, and so on. So, as I said, I'm sorry guys, it's just so much testing, it's just so much trying, what is the best version, how can we get there? You know, it's like it's a new build, so there is like I cannot go to PO Ninja and be like, yo, who is else playing accuracy stack, or why do they have a different tree? Is that tree better than mine? So just compare builds and try to find out the best, because all the accuracy stackers that I found are all playing Siege Ballista, which I think is actually probably the best version. For bosses guaranteed, but for I don't think that totem builds in 100% Delirious map will be as cool as playing it self-attack with a Frenzy or Tornado Shot or something like that. Good. Lots of talking. Yeah, I'm gonna try out more things, and I'm gonna keep you guys updated in the upcoming days. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.